Anyway, so my dad gets me this glove. I'm 4 years old. I mean, the glove is probably as long as my leg, because they didn't have kids' gloves, So I'm over at my grandparents' house, and my grandma goes, let's go play catch with your glove. So we play catch a little bit. I had a good arm. At that, 4 years old, it wasn't super accurate.
Okay.
So she got a little tired of chasing the ball to the neighbors or the third neighbors or the sixth neighbors down. Like, that's long. And then I would chase it, and we got a little tired. And so she says, let's sit on the porch and have a little popsicle. So I said, I'll take an orange one. She goes, yeah, I know, I figured. And so we're sitting at a popsicle, and my grandma goes, hey, you want to know what you're going to be when you grow up? No, I'm 4. My grandma walked on water. Yeah, tell me. Whoever you hang around. And I think that's us, right? As we share with kids or we help kids, we teach kids, is who you hang around is going to be who you are.
Yeah.
And when you hang around all-stars like you all, sitting here, I'm a guest. I'm a guest, but it's so
Hall of Famer.
It's just all good. It's just a guest,
We happy to be with you, Greg.
Yeah, just fun. So my grandma kind of got me thinking, who I hang around. And then who I am recruits who I hang around too. And that's a personal thing.
That's good.
Right?
We often say, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around.
That's good.
And like Greg, we often associated winners hang with winners. All they know is winning. All we know is winning. Now, we ain't always won at everything, but it's a winner's mentality. It's a championship mindset that we take to the workplace, in our marriage, in our families, in the community. And you're right. Who you are then attracts that to you. So if we not together, if we are with somebody else, they're of that ilk too. And if they're not, we won't be around them long.
Right.
That's simple.
And they'll prove you wrong.
Yeah.
But you can't be a chameleon in your character.
Right.
You could be a chameleon if you needed to dress up or dress down, drive this car or go to this restaurant. That's different. But when you're talking character, I think that's probably what most of my coaches shared is, we don't do it that way. You do that. We don't talk that way. This is your team. We don't beat each other up. And we're on the team. We might be against this other school for tonight, Friday night, under the lights. But yeah, so I think for us as adults and whoever's listening to this podcast, which is an amazing podcast, to me it's man up. Don't settle. Life is too short.
There you go.
We've lost some buddies, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't have 75 years on Earth. So don't leave it behind.
Correct. So, Greg, going from athlete to coach, speaking into young men's lives and things of that nature, did that propel you to being a motivational speaker or to being a life coach, or what did propel you to that career?
I think a lot of things did. I think my mom was a leader way before women were allowed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you seen it before it became mainstream.
Yeah, she wasn't women's liberal. I don't even know what that is, but she just was a leader, and she knocked down doors, and she wasn't difficult to be around. She was talented, and you couldn't keep her off the field or out of that committee. I think maybe being around such. I like the word mosaic in sports. And you see a dude and you're like, I don't care what color he is. He's on our team. He's good.
Exactly.
I mean, he can help us win. I mean, that's what we were about, And we, go to MLK Park or Michigan Fuller, and you're like, I don't know, I'll take you. You look like you could play. I mean, we were just accepting,
Yeah.
And I think maybe seeing promise and potential in people is maybe what I enjoyed from coaching in sports.
Okay.
And then bring it to business. You're like, I see the potential.
Yeah.
And we're not in competition. And I'm not trying to be better than you so you don't have anything. It's not like win everything, Chris, you have nothing.
Exactly.
It's like we can both win.
We both can win.
That's
so
huge.
maybe I don't know if that helped you, E, but
No, I like that.
I just think seeing the potential in people. There's a book, I didn't write it, but it's called The Noticer. It's a friend of mine, Andy Andrews. I'll get you the link, but the whole book's premise is a fable about a dude that doesn't have a first name. And he walks around kind of like Jesus, just sees people, notices them.
Yeah.
And he just speaks in their life. And he changes their trajectory. And I think that's what I enjoy about life coaching, business coaching, sports coaching, is just you see the potential. And it's quite fun when someone makes it. You're like, yes, not this. But it's like, you made it.
You made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you see somebody else achieve those results, right?
It's just so fun.
There you go.
Rewarding.
There you go.
And I think maybe it's dog eat dog too much out there. To me, I don't have a scarcity mindset that's biblical. I have an abundance mindset. And to me, there's resources for everybody.
There you go.
It's not like there's a shortage. But I think don't go alone. Bring other people.
That's
like you're inviting me to be here, so hopefully I help. Just don't go alone.
There you go.
I've seen a lot of people who were on an island and they dried up. And that's a great lesson for kids. Don't do it alone, man.
That's funny you said on an island. I usually use that analogy as being in leadership when you're trying to change culture. For me, it's like I'm on an island by myself. Like, this is who I am. But eventually, I'm going to have people that's on the island with me. So, I like that.
I think sometimes we resort maybe to go on the island because we're just, either tired or maybe we're full of ourselves or I don't know, whatever it is. And I just find being on an island is dang lonely.
That's true.
And that's why in leadership, they often say it's lonely at the top. But to your point, Greg, I think that's why we're so intentional about bringing others along or helping others realize their potential. So you don't have to sit and be lonely at the top. You got a whole mob of people that's coming as well. You know what I'm saying? You're uplifting others. And so that's one of the victories that you do with life coaching. The thing I was going to also ask you about too is in life coaching, what are some commonalities that you see? Like that when I talked to out of 10 people, 6 out of these 10 all had these same kind of barriers that they were struggling to get over.
That's a good question, bro.
How much time we got?
Right. You got your notes still over there?
No, I got no notes. We're just going from the hip, man.
There we go.
I think let's go with this. Those that made it farther didn't let setbacks describe who they were.
That's good.
You dropped the jewels on us.
I think setbacks is it kind of makes you pout, kind of makes you doubt, and that's just a winning mindset. Is that's a setback, but I'm not going to be detained.
So the winning mentality looks as a setback is nothing more than preparing you for an awesome comeback.
If you think about a setback. Or just maybe a tranquil life, what's the growth? You're just tranquil. You're just moving along. You have a setback and you got to come up. That's quite an accomplishment. And I've learned also, whether it's coaching or life coaching, often they don't do it alone. Someone who's a mentor, someone who spoke in their life. Like this noticer, he kind of talks to people and he finds them. And Chris, you and your wife, I notice you're going through something. Just know in the end it's going to be more beautiful than your wedding vows. And this guy leaves and you're like, how did he know? So I think setback and comebacks are just so sweet. I think grit might be one that I've seen, and really some winners is grit. Like, coaching high school kids, hey, we're going to do laps, and people cheating on the corners, and they pretend they got a hamstring pull or whatever, and you're just cheating yourself. And so I think the grit of I've got it. But we also in life coaching, particularly in business coaching, this is how I describe. So if you said, "What's your mantra in coaching?" It'd be, I'm just going to bring out what God put in you anyway. I'm not giving you nothing God didn't give you. I'm just going to bring it out.
There you go.
That's what you do in coaching. They make the person believe they can run that route. You can fill that A gap and stop that fullback. That's what you teach them to do.
That's good.
I think hustle is a big one for me. Maybe people think they're going to get it handed to them. And I'm not sure why they think that. I mean, none of us did that.
I don't know what that is.
My dad never even bought me a leather pair of shoes. I had to buy my own for basketball. On this floor, my senior year, I finally got my first leather basketball shoe. He goes, well, they stretch. well, Dad, everything stretches, but it was probably money, I didn't grow up rich or nothing, and just I was fortunate to come to this school, and I know my parents and grandparents contributed for me to go here. I mean, it wasn't like we were Silver Spoon and Country Club.
Yeah.
So I think that one other thing maybe that I find with the winners or winning, mindset is they observe.
Mm-hmm.
They pay attention. They observe. What do you do different? How are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
You do it a little different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But both works.
Mm-hmm.
So you observe. You're just curious. You're watching. Probably my favorite way to learn, is to observe. Like you just watch people. And, maybe I'll stop with those few. Sorry about that.
That was awesome.
I want to tell you a funny story. So I used to do commencements at the alternative ed high schools. And that's where I first started speaking, to answer your question.
Okay.
So I would do commencements at alternative ed. Wyoming had a big one, so I did those for a long time and did it for free. It was just exhilarating. And I'd try to wear, not a business suit because these kids aren't coming from business families. I mean, they're struggling kids, and just give them hope.
Yep.
But so I start with one story. My coach, if I'm going to send that to my coach, he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you said that." But so I'm a freshman at Hope College. I'm a decent player, but they have a senior quarterback, and at Hope that was sort of their ritual of we're going to honor the seniors. You came through our program. We're not going to sit you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they were right or wrong. It doesn't matter. But I was a freshman, so I was like, I probably was better than the senior, but I didn't know the offense the way they did. So I traveled and got to play a lot. But we're going to Valparaiso University in Indiana.
Indiana, yep.
And I'll share the story. So my commencement is. I have one NCAA record that will never be broken by a regular player, not a kicker. Because I scored from the first play as a freshman ever. And I'll tell you the rest of the story. So we're at Valparaiso. Ironically, they had this cast cannon that you'd throw these, bombs in, and whenever someone scored, they would shoot them off. Well, I'm thinking, why would they shoot them off for us? We're beating them. But they did. They shot off 7.
So it was just about a touchdown.
It was a
no
touchdown.
Matter who
it wasn't
scored.
to me, I wouldn't have wasted a cap on us. I mean, I'm Valparaiso, Anyway, so we're up 28-0, and coach goes, "Hey, Heeres, you want to go in?" I said, "Well, yeah." Well, I got mouth guard in or dry mouth, and I was all nervous. I said, "Sure, I'll go in." So defense stops them. They punt, goes over the returner's head. All the way to the 2-foot line.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So I got 99 yards to score.
There you go.
So he goes, quarterback sneak, and fortunately I picked the center, not the guard, to get the ball. And I go up to the ball and take a step back, push off, score a safety for Valparaiso.
Wow.
True story. Coach Smith, I'm really sorry I did that. Then I had to walk 35 yards across the field to my sideline where everyone's like, what?
Right.
So they had a shutout. And I just ruined it with 2 points. I could have walked all the way back to Holland, Michigan. Here's your helmet, coach. I don't deserve this. And he go back out. And obviously the story changed, as how we did well and won a lot. But when I tell an alternative ed kid, it's not how you start. Because if I'd have started and I scored a safety for the other team,
exactly.
I'd have quit. But they didn't let me. So for alternative ed people, it's like, you know what, guys, I know you took a different route. I think things got bumpy, maybe decisions or other people, but you're here and you still got all this runway yet.
Yeah.
So it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
I love that.
So that's a funny story, but my coach would be like, that's not a funny story.
You messed up our shutout.
Oh my goodness gracious! And what a long ride home.
Hey, E, I know the defense gave him.
Ooh, talking about side eye.
That shutout, man.
In fact, I just was with one of my college buddies. We play pickleball at Belknap Park, and he goes, "I remember you took that knee for the other team." That's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
What the world?
Yeah, you will never lay it out.
No.
memories, man.
Then I could have scored 1,000 passing touchdowns, and they would still remember that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.